Ginem. He also made a stopover at a gem orphanage. The president's itinerary includes the cutting of the sod for work to start on the Isiama and Crawford Road at Isiama in the Lembele district and to launch the Grewa community mining scheme.
The Ghana
Six, check, 1, 2. 6, try, 1, 2.
The Ghana Broadcasting Corporation GBC has launched its Political Broadcast Committee with oversight responsibility of the public service broadcasters' coverage of election 2020.
The 16-member committee, presided over by a member of the GBC board, Dr. Sarah Jani, is to ensure equal opportunity and fair access to all political parties who satisfy the requirements of the Electoral Commission and receive approval to take part in a December poll. Winifred Ifum has more.
The 1992 Constitution requires all state media to give all political parties the same amount of time and coverage to present their programs to allow the electorate to make informed decisions about the parties. Over the years, the state broadcaster GBC has had the challenge of satisfying all the political parties, a situation that has on occasion generated disaffection and legal proceedings against the corporation. GBC, by inaugurating the Political Broadcast Committee, is mandated to make available equal airtime and space to all contesting parties, be it free or paid for airtime. Subject to editorial review, all news conferences and statements shall be published by GBC. The Director General of the GBC, Professor Amin Al-Hassan, said GBC is under-resourced and requires assistance from the political parties to ensure effective coverage of election 2020 across the length and breadth of the country.
Let me make it clear that this election year is unlike other election years at GBC. Our capacity to travel with political parties to pick content is seriously constrained because we do not have the resources that we will normally have for elections. So, while management will guarantee the airtime for political parties, we cannot guarantee that we may have the resources to do the traveling all the time. We do not have a budget line to foot the bill of traveling cost. This we put up for public notice.
The chairman of the National Media Commission, Mr. Yao Buedu Ayabuafo, commenting on the challenges of GBC, said the burden of the Constitution does not lie on the GBC to finance the campaigns of the political parties. The onus, however, he says, is on the state broadcaster to ensure fair coverage for all the political parties.
If GBC does not have the resources to give coverage to every one of the qualified registered political parties, it is not a weakness of GBC, it is a weakness of the state. Unfortunately, as a country and as a people, we have not firmly determined the nature that we want GBC to be. It is supposed to be a public service broadcaster, it is supposed to be a commercial broadcaster, and it is also supposed to be a state broadcaster. Now, when you have all these functions to perform, it's not very easy.
The acting director of television of GBC, Mr. Ebenezer Mpabing, presented the guidelines in detail for coverage of the elections. He said political parties who require live coverage of their activities must pay the cost of the airtime at least 72 hours ahead of the program. News will, however, carry the event free of charge. He said the committee will strive to overcome the difficulties of distinguishing between the coverage of official government business from political party-related programs in the case of incumbency. a logo for GBC's coverage of the elections was unveiled. For GBC News, Winifred Ofum reporting.
There's an urgent call on the government to help stop illegal patrolling by foreign vessels in Ghanaian waters. A non-profit organization, Friends of the Nation, says the fish stock in the sea is fast depleting, necessitating urgent attention to address the situation. The program's manager of the organization, Mr. Che Kwejo, said the fishery sector was suffering due to illegal fishing, including transpishment, popularly called siaku. He said that siaku was the worst form of illegal fishing and urged the government to stop it without delay. Friends of the Nation says the practice of siaku continues to deplete the marine fishery resources, and as a result, many fisherfolk and their dependents live in abject poverty.
Fisherfolk continue to express concern in many ways, including the latest peaceful protest in the coastal regions. Ghana's Fisheries Law Act 625 of 2002, Fisheries Regulation of 2010 LI 1968, and the Fisheries Amended Act 880 and many other laws prohibit cycle fishing. They allege that the most blameworthy cycle fishing were Chinese trawlers. They quote the Sustainable Development Goal SDG 14 Target 14.4, which states that countries will effectively regulate harvesting and end overfishing, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing and destructive fishing practices by the end of 2020. Friends of the Nation is urging the government to hear the many appeals from fisherfolk and stakeholders to end cycle fishing to save Ghana's fisheries, which contributes about 10% of the gross domestic product GDP.
A former General Secretary of the Progressive People's Party, PPP, Mr. William Dowokpo, on Tuesday filed his nomination at the party's headquarters in Accra, signaling his intention to run for president in the 2020 elections. The party's founder and former flag bearer, Dr. Pakwesi Indum, has decided not to contest in the 2020 elections, opening the way for other party faithfuls to lead the PPP.
The Progressive People's Party, PPP, was formed in 2012 by a former member and flag bearer of the Convention People's Party, CPP, Dr. Pakwesi Indum. The party placed third in the 2012 and 2016 presidential elections, with Pakwesi Indum as its flag bearer on both occasions. The party's decision to open nomination for interested party members to contest for the flag bearer slot was reached following Dr. Indum's decision not to run this year. Mr. William Dowokpo, former General Secretary of the PPP, today filed his nomination form to officially contest for the party's flag bearership position. In a virtual conference, Mr. Dowokpo said Ghanaians need a break from the NDC-NPP duopoly for a better PPP administration.
Indeed, there is evidence around that majority of Ghanaians, more than ever before, are tired and fed up with the bad governance of the duopoly, ranging from election violence to corruption and bad economic governance, aptly described by a judge of the Superior Court of Ghana at a commission of inquiry as create, loot, and share, while majority of our people wallow in poverty, destitution, and neglect.
He said he voted into power, his cabinet would ensure a progressive and accountable governance by executing all his 10 policy visions for the country.
My political ideology is pragmatism, humanism, and common sense, informed by the need for consensus building, inclusiveness, and using the best people in the country to accelerate our development and make our people collectively prosperous.
He also urged all aspiring parliamentary candidates on the ticket of the Progressive People's Party (PPP) in all the 16 regions to push the party's ideology forward and ensure a win for the PPP on December 7th, 2020.
The New Patriotic Party (NPP) has inaugurated a 34-member Upper East Regional Campaign Team charged to draw up a strategic plan to retain the party in power in the December polls. The team's duty is to organize the campaign visibly for a massive win for the party's presidential candidate Nana Akufo-Addo, as it also targets some parliamentary seats for the party in the region.
The New Patriotic Party (NPP) has only 3 seats in the Upper East region out of the 15 constituencies. The NDC occupies the remaining 12 seats. The Deputy National Campaign Team Manager of the NPP in charge of messaging, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, who is also the Minister for Inner Cities and Zongo Development, inaugurated the 2020 team chaired by the Upper East Regional Chairman of the NPP, Mr. Anthony Namo, a lawyer. He charged the team to work harder to break the World Bank tag by the National Democratic Congress (NDC) over the region and reduce it to a microfinance. Dr. Mustafa Hamid said the masses have benefited from all the groundbreaking policies in the country developed by the NPP government.
Every groundbreaking policy, every policy that has benefited the mass of the people of Ghana has been done by an NPP government. Every one of them. Every Ghanaian knows that national health insurance was done by an NPP government. Every Ghanaian knows that metro mass transportation was done by an NPP government. Every Ghanaian knows that school feeding program was done by an NPP government. Every Ghanaian knows that capitation grant was done by an NPP government. Everybody knows that free maternal health care was done by an NPP government. Everybody knows that one district, one party was done by an NPP government. Everybody knows that free senior high school was done by an NPP government. So, what did the NDC governments that have run this country done? The achievements, what we have achieved in 3 years, looks to him like 8 years. He cannot believe that all these things that we have achieved, we have done it in only 3.5 years.
The Upper East Regional Minister, Madam Tangoba Abayage, who is also the NPP parliamentary candidate for the Navrongo Central constituency and a member of the campaign team, said the NPP is leaving no stone unturned to achieve the aim of retaining power to continue with the party's policies and development projects. She mentioned some of the government's projects undertaken in the region.
Last year you heard about the rice. The rice gland, it was malnourished. It is this region that has made made in Ghana rice popular. Thanks to the almighty planting populations. And I already have a paper on my table for rearing populations. We have 6 bridges, 6 concurrently going on under the Danida project.
A member of the NPP 2020 campaign team of the Upper East region, Abdul Wahab Hanan Aludiba, on behalf of his colleagues, called for support from all for a successful outcome.
The Lakeside Technical Academy has organized a solar power training for selected personnel in the construction, energy and related sectors of the country. The training, which is an initiative of Silver Star Tar in collaboration with the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association (GREDA), is for hands-on practical knowledge for solar power technology and other sources of renewable energy.
There were presentations on the various types of solar power technology, concentrated power technology, and photovoltaic technology. Other demonstrations focused on LED technology, how it works, its advantages and disadvantages. Light-emitting diodes, LEDs, are now used commonly in all areas, from commercial places to homes, and these could be in the form of standard lighting, stage, theatrical, architectural and public installations, and wherever artificial light is used. Experts in the energy sector say although LED lights have some disadvantages, its advantages such as longer lifetime, operates very fast and do not contain toxic material like mercury, contribute enormously to the country's renewable energy systems. The Managing Director of Advanced Construction and Development Limited, Mr. Salah Kalmoni, said LEDs provide an advantage over the conventional lighting and are less impacted by frequent on and off switching.
Compared to incandescent, you're saving 90% of the energies. So these are some of the things. The biggest load in Ghana in terms of energy actually is air conditioning. And at Lakeside Estate, Silverstar Tower, other Greda members, we are using inverter ACs. So the old ACs, they will have a compressor, and the compressor, let's say, if it's operating at 5 amps, when it starts, it kicks at 10 amps, which consumes a lot of energy. But the new inverter ACs sold by Delta and other companies, they will start at 1 amp, 2 amp, 3 amp, 4 amp, 5 amp, and it will stop. So you save about 30%.
According to the facility manager at the Silver Star Tower Limited and also an electrical engineer, Mr. Paul Efriye, Ghana is gradually moving towards distribution generation of power, and therefore it is critical to practically train personnel in the energy sector and other sectors of the economy about renewable energy integration.
And solar and wind are these two renewable sources that are being developed currently in the world. But here in Ghana, we are much more known attached to the solar because the wind technology is not that developed in Ghana.
The Silver Star Tower Limited, with support from the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GREDA, would soon introduce extensive training sessions on security, plumbing, and advanced training, which includes solar power training for 1 month. For GBC News, Oferiwa Dako reporting.
Residents of Petoi in the Agotime district of the Volta region are pleading with the government and NGOs for assistance for access to potable water. They say the poor water situation has compelled them to depend mostly on River Toje, and this has health implications.
Petoi is the capital town of the Agotime Ziokwi district of the Volta region. It is well known for the production of kente, and the industry is growing. However, a major challenge for the townsfolk is the issue of access to potable water. Though the Agotime Ziokwi District Assembly has made lots of efforts to find a lasting solution to the problem, the challenge still persists. The community has been provided with a borehole to help ease the difficulty in getting potable water, yet it is a common feature to find residents, especially children, with gallons in the community. The youth fetch water from the Toji River and sell to residents. They say a gallon of water costs 1 Ghana cedi, but 6 of these gallons sell for 5 Ghana cedis. They say business is relatively okay, though not the best option.
The charges here 10 pesos, and we sell it 6 gallons for 5 cedis. Oh, it's a good business that is helping some of us that are not having any other jobs to do, though we complete private tertiary.
Always, this is the Toje we will be fetching. We have some community water that we will be using, but that one is not enough. For instance, I'm speaking, we have the problem about 1 week now, the water is not flowing. So we have to come to the riverside and fetch water before we can cook.
The residents, who are not oblivious of the health implications of their dependence on the Toji River, are therefore pleading with the government and NGOs to come to their aid.
A former head of editing at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, GBC, Madam Rebecca Neti, has passed on. She was 67. Auntie Becky, as she was affectionately called, died in Accra. She worked with the film editing department of the television newsroom of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Funeral arrangements will be announced later. You are watching News Hour on GBC News. We are back after this break.